Aqua Joe is a company that is linked to Sun Joe, Snow Joe, and they have just been innovators in absolutely everything they do. This is a 50-foot length Fiberjacket, what they call their max hose. There is a marine grade fiber that's built into a mesh jacket, and inside of it is a 5/8 inch diameter garden hose. The whole hose, all 50 foot, weigh in at under 3 pounds, making it substantially lower in weight than so many of the other hoses that are out there, especially a traditional rubber hose. And if you've ever had a garden hose, when you're washing a car, get caught underneath one tire and you lose all air pressure, that doesn't happen with this hose. A 150-pound man can stand on this hose and it won't diminish the flow rate one iota. It is also built to last. These are heavy billet aluminum fittings on each end, and you'll notice the longer length of plastic. It's ABS plastic, what they make car bumpers and crash helmets out of, on each end of the hose. That prevents you from pulling the hose at its Achilles heel, its weak point, away from the faucet when you yank on it. And everybody yanks on garden hoses. This is a hose that you'll find to be the simplest and easiest that you've probably ever worked with. We made it available on Sunday show with Pat and myself, Sunday morning, as just kind of a precursor, as a sneak peek. And then last night at 9 p.m. we made it available. Today though, when we hit 9 p.m. tonight, that price goes away. So today is the only day that we can make it available to you, now at $32.98. Normally, traditionally, at Aqua Joe, it sells for 40 bucks. And I know on the screen you're looking and go, well, we're at $32.98. That's, $7 difference. But we're also including from Sun Joe an additional year on the warranty, and that's really important. I don't know many garden hoses that come to you with a 1-year warranty to begin with. This comes to you with a 2-year warranty as standard, and we're adding in a 3rd year. 3-year warranty on a hose is unheard of. I've been here at QVC long enough and been doing outdoor shows and garden shows. The word unkinkable in the hose world is used as the greatest lie. You hear it all, that the hose is unkinkable. And the first time you try it, it kinks and you can't get the kink out. This, you can tie in a knot and the water pressure will still not diminish. They also did something that I thought was remarkable. They increased the strength of the hose. The testing that's done to it is called burst testing, to see how much pressure you can actually put through it. There are so many fireman hoses out there that are flat that you have to use the entire 50 foot off a hose reel to be able to use it at all. Not true with this. I can have it on a hose reel and just use 10 feet. But the burst strength on this is 600 PSI, which means you can use it on any pressure washer that we have ever sold, and on some of the bigger, more industrial pressure washers. And it may seriously be the last hose you ever buy, and this thing coils up small enough to put it in a flower pot. I really was impressed. Don't take my word for it. My buddy Sean Pickford, who is usually with me for a lot of these outdoor shows, he's the representative for Joe Cohen and Aqua Joe. He is right now social distancing on his back deck, and we're going to talk about a superior garden hose. Sean, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Dan. Good to see you.
Hey, they told me you were on your deck. Again, I was wrong.
It's okay. We moved it down to where there's a little more sunlight here, hoping that it doesn't rain. But this is where you're going to use the hose, out in the yard. So what better way to put it? Right in the yard where it should be.
And your garden hose is usually kind of the first thing that you grab for any cleanup project. Anything that involves gardening, you're going to be watering. And people have struggled with garden hoses for way too long. Listen, I've got a standard traditional PVC hose here. I'm weighing in for yours at under 3 pounds. Other hoses can be substantially more weight, which means you've got more weight you've got to drag. And this thing, if you go around the corner of a house or get it caught underneath the tire of a car, this thing doesn't cut off the water the way a regular traditional garden hose will.
No, and we tested it up so you can put 150 pounds on there. Trust me, I haven't weighed 150 pounds since the 10th grade, okay? So you can see I can jump up and down on here. Look, I still have enough pressure that I can squirt the hose all the way into the pool from here. That's how much reach I have because you know what? I can't crush the hose. I can't shut off that pressure. So it allows you to get all the water flow you out. I love that it's 5/8 inch diameter inside. So we didn't put the Fiberjacket on and make it really small inside. So you don't have any water pressure. You want to fill the kiddie pool so they can be in it right away? 5/8 inch diameter really does the job for you.
Okay, here's another factor. Anyone who lives in Wisconsin or lives up here in the Northeast knows what it's like if you've ever left a garden hose out during the winter months. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, hoses are not inexpensive normally. A really good quality hose goes for around $1 per foot. That's the average running price when you go off to a home center. This is the very first sub-zero hose that Aqua Joe has ever released to the public. Now, I'm not saying leave it out during the winter, but if you had, it will not burst because of water in it expanding. And 600 PSI burst strength is one of the strongest hoses that we've ever offered on the air. So you can feel free to use it with anything that you use with a garden hose. It could be a sprinkler, it could be a hose and adapter, it could be a pressure washer. It will work with all of them. And the findings on the end are some of the beefiest that I've ever seen, Sean.
Yeah, they really are, and so much so that they're beefy, but, you know, if you were using just your bare hands on them, it might tear up your fingers. So we put that comfort grip, that blue piece on there, the light blue.
Yep.
So look, that spins around to turn it on. So when you're threading it onto something, you just turn the blue piece.
Yeah.
So you're not tearing up your fingers like a traditional garden hose. That way you get it nice and tight so it also doesn't leak all over the place. So we thought of everything when we looked at the. We wanted to make it lightweight. We wanted to make it really strong. We wanted to make it durable. And as you said, who else would think of putting a 3-year warranty on a garden hose?
That's unheard of. Absolutely unheard of, which really tells you the quality. Anybody who's bought an inferior hose for the same price, $35, $40, and accidentally just barely steps on the end of the hose and takes that metal out of round, it never works again. You might as well throw it in the trash can. With this, you'll notice that the business end of it is fully embedded into the plastic. You can't step on the metal, but that is such a thick-walled piece that you could beat on this with a hammer and I don't think you'd change it. And the same thing is true with the other end. So Sean and I were talking on the phone earlier today. Sean's been a buddy of mine for 30 years. If you've ever had a garden hose burst attached to a pressure washer, it sounds like a rifle shot and it scares the daylights out of you, okay? If you're standing close to it, there's a chance of getting hurt. This would be the hose that I would select first to put together with any pressure washer.
And you know what, Dan? We just had a pressure washer today special value on the main channel 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
I use this hose all day long because no matter what I do, I knew that I was going to get the consistent water pressure out of it. I knew from dragging it all over the place, across the yard, back and forth, whatever it might be, that Fiberjacket was going to take care of me. And it was going to basically protect my hose so I didn't have to worry about it. And just to show you, I mean, there's not even a mark anywhere on the Fiberjacket. I mean, I'll even bring it up here and you can see.
Yep.
Look, there's not a scratch. There's nothing on that Fiberjacket from me pulling that cinder block around. So think about it. When you're dragging it across the pavers, when you're dragging it around the fence, when you get it wrapped around something, all right, and you slide it across there, is it going to cut the hose? Well, your Fiberjacket here protects you. So that's the great thing about having that jacket on there. So the inner core stays flexible and you can go about your watering needs.
Also, just for fun, we took one of your 50-foot hoses and tied about a dozen knots in this thing, and it is still giving me full pressure with no problems whatsoever. I'm impressed that we're talking about people getting their jobs done, being able to water their plants, wash the car, whether it's going to be hooked up to a pressure washer itself. This material is out there in the hose world, but it's usually much, much more expensive. For people who are just tuning in,
right,
we'll say hello. This is our big deal of the day here on QVC2. That price will go away at the end of the day. It is a 50-foot length of Aqua Joe, what they refer to as a marine grade Fiberjacket hose. So that cloth that you see on the exterior becomes almost like a Kevlar vest for the hose
think about
itself.
like the denier luggage. Right. Think about the heavy duty luggage that you buy nowadays. It's rip and tear resistant, stuff like that. And let's face it, airports beat the heck out of it. We took the same principle here, and that's why we used the marine grade, because it was even tougher. So that way it protects your hose, and that's what allows us to be confident and know that we can give it a 3-year warranty.
Yeah. When's the last time you saw a garden hose that had a 3-year warranty on it? And the answer is
The only one I've ever.
Yeah.
If it's a Joe hose, yes.
Yeah.
Anybody else, as soon as you leave the store, you own the hose.
Okay, here's the price again. We're at $32.98. We have it on Easy Pay as well. It's 3 installments of, what is it, $10.99, under 11 bucks, I know that. And we ship the hose to you right away. Now, we also added in an additional year to the warranty. And the standard warranty on the hose is 2 years. You're getting 3. It's also potentially the last hose that you're ever going to buy. Do we? Pardon me, as I laugh out. All right, I'm going to interrupt myself for just a second. Sean, you know the crew that I work with. And guys, in all honesty, I work with the best. I really do. I work with, from the camera people, Hefty standing right over there, Justin, the best, John, my producer. I went to do the demonstration, Sean, earlier to show how it doesn't cut the water pressure, and we hadn't turned we hadn't turned the hose on. So got to kind of turn that spigot on, don't we? Yeah. Again, we tied several knots in this 50-foot hose, and they're tied. That's as tight as we could get those knots. And I know this hose, so I wasn't worried. That does sound more impressive when you turn the little round thing on the wall.
It makes a difference when you have the water pump. It really does the job. Hey, I mean, that's what we did. We made it as a really durable hose that if you're going around the corner, it's not going to shut off on you.
Yeah.
If you're going through the fence and stuff like that, think about the rose bushes, all the things that you're going to be dragging it around. I have a lot of corners and pavers and stuff out by the deck that's in front of me here, and I'm always dragging it around because the hose bib is always on the corner of something. So you're always wrapping it around something else. The other thing, too, is, I mean, you're dragging it over the cars and stuff like that. You want to make sure that everything is nice and protected.
Every single time I would wash my truck, I would take the garden hose and drag it around the back, and it would get stuck under the wheel. And every time it would pinch the hose and shut the water off, and I would have to go back and pull it out. And listen, I'm at the age where I grumble about things. You've got about another 1.5 years and you'll get there, Sean.
I'm working on it.
It's a certain age where you grumble about everything. This is just less frustration, less hassle, a whole heck of a lot less weight. And if there are people out there who need 100 feet of hose, feel free to connect them together. And a regular hose reel. Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
You can put 3 or 4 on a hose reel, whatever you want. So because it doesn't have all the bulk and size and weight to it, you can put many on there, but it's got all the durability. I also like that even when it's filled up and you want to coil it up when you're done, you can do that too because of the flexibility. The last thing I hate is wrestling with a garden hose.
Right. Fireman's hoses became the hot commodity about 10 years ago. And a fireman's hose is a flat hose. This is not a fireman's hose. This is what, again, they refer to as a Fiberjacket hose. The difference is a flat fireman's hose, you have to unreel all of the length off of a hose reel to be able to get any pressure out of it. You can't just use 15 feet of the 50-footer or 25 feet of the 50-footer. With this, you can. Also, you don't have to expel all the water out of the hose to put it back onto the hose. And by the way, on the videotape, Sean, I saw that dragging the hose over the hood of the car, and I know both you and I both cringed when we saw that. Just never.
Yeah, and I mean, I tried it, and I wanted to see. You know what? There wasn't a single mark on my vehicle, so that's the great thing about it. Look at that around the fence post. This also cleans off really nice too, Dan. The worst thing is your garden hose starts to get all dirty. And will it fit in the little pot? Look, this is filled with water.